All right, Facts, we're back. Facts. That's a good start. Good start. Reboot. Start over. Folks, we're back again. Doing a little impromptu show tonight with Phil Locklear and Unscripted. Not happening. We decided to go ahead and bring the crew back one more time. You know us. You love us. We hope anyway. So tonight we're doing an episode 2 of sorts, based off of our previous week's Halloween horror movie chit chat. We're gonna make an attempt to have a format and a actual subject tonight versus just diving in, but who knows, the rabbit hole will take us where it takes us. You're welcome to join us, you're welcome to chat, you're welcome to ask questions, you're welcome to join the discussion between myself, who is myself here. Hello, I'm Tom Hutchison. What's going on? Returning guest, Mr. Jim E. Noble. Is it Noble or Noble?
It's Noble.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive.
All right. I kind of like Noble. It's you know.
Everybody all the kids in school would Noble, freaking Nobel. God damn it.
All right. He says Noble. I guess we'll go with Noble. That's fine. And of course, returning host. You guys are hosts with me. This is what's happening. Returning host David Fought, who apparently on his computer does not have a caps lock function because
it doesn't. I paid $1,200 for this sumbitch, no caps lock. Damn it.
So yeah. Last week we had some fun with a little Halloween show. I can't believe it's already been a week. That's a crazy, like, long and short week with the election and everything. This is the weirdest week ever for me. Kickstarters are happening. Jim's got a Kickstarter. David is part of Kickstarters. Is David on yours Kickstarter, Jim?
He's got a cover that he's working on. That's coming out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's coming. He does have one for me that is available right now. Ursa Minor. If you guys like horror comics, I am doing a horror comic called Ursa Minor. It is on Kickstarter right this very second. We have about a week left. It's going to end a week from tomorrow. And I don't know, when does yours end, Jim?
Mine ends on Friday the 13th.
So yours ends next Friday, and I end 2 days later. So there you go. Go check out Kickstarter's Ursa Minor, and yours is?
Totally Rad Life of Violet #4 / Neon the Next Victim #1.
Beautiful. We have some people hanging out with us here. Let's see who's in the comments. We have Trish. We have Bobby Joe. We have Jack. We have a whole bunch. We got links dropping in here too. Thank you, Mike. We got links dropping for Kickstarters. Guys, check the feed, and our good friends and fans and followers, the triple Fs, are out there dropping links for us, dropping them like they're hot.
Nice,
excellent. We appreciate that. So, Jason Goes to Hell.
So welcome to our part 3 of our
of Jason Goes to Hell. We always have to just dig a little deeper, and then we'll move on. But Jim, I am going to start here because Jim did watch it yesterday. So Jim, after our discussion last night, and you watched the movie, did you come up with anything that is newsworthy here?
Well, I mean, obviously watching it and just thinking, if just the beginning, if it just showed his mom reading from the Necronomicon, would it the rest of the movie, like the ending, when you get to the end, like once they get to the house, the Voorhees house, also, like, I was sitting there, I was like, wait a minute, his mom was like a cook at the camp, but they have a mansion. Then why the fuck was she a cook at this dinky little sleepaway camp in the 50s? That doesn't make no sense to me, unless she's like the black sheep of the family, and they're like, you gotta earn your money, and so she goes to work. You're like, you got an ugly fucking son, so you're gonna go work at the camp. We're not giving you any money, and so maybe that's how she had to make a living. I don't know. There's a lot that they never really explain, like that whole mansion thing, the lost sister.
I'm still convinced of how they Halloween it.
there's definitely stuff that needed to be unpacked, and as I talked about yesterday, the director in his head had all of this unpacked, but he just didn't show us any of the laundry. So we ended up with what we ended up with, which was what we ended up with. So yeah. I don't know.
That dog that shows up and is sniffing the mask, it would have made it better if he peed on it, like in Friday or Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, where the dog pees and Freddy comes back.
Do we really need double nightmare? Do we need double nightmare appearances though?
It would have been great. It would have been Jason pissing on Jason, and then Freddy. Yeah,
we did get a Michael Myers little hint. Did you guys catch that part?
Was it on the TV or something? Is that it? Or
no, it was just a direct speaking line, and it's very minuscule and means nothing. But for those that know, we know. Basically, when they're out, the dude gets left behind and he has to go get picked up. They say basically they're giving directions to where they have to go, and they say you have to go out past the Myers house.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, it's very tiny, but it is legitimate because in that dude's interview, the director, he does say we slipped that little Halloween thing in there, so that is real.
Nice.
There is there's another scene in that movie that I'm just like, that. Come on, how nimble is that guy? Where he's handcuffed, he jumps.
Oh, jumps and
he jumps and freaking hoops it over his legs, grabs the guy's gun and just starts firing away. I'm like, he wouldn't have been able to do that jump. No way. That guy,
By the way, guys, Jim's gonna be doing that next week. We'll have another deal just for that. He's gonna try it.
We're gonna become Mythbusters for horror movies. Like, can you really jump over your handcuffs and shoot a bad guy?
Yeah, just think about it. It's like there's just no way.
I just love the whole scene too, like when he's like breaking his fingers, like you have to owe me now. Here we go. Snap.
Well, and then right afterwards, the cops that come in, those dudes are John and Ken. They used to have a radio show in Los Angeles.
Oh, really?
And, or he's like squatting down, like that's John and Ken, and they had cameos in that film. And I only know that because I was in LA when they had a show. Yeah. And then they actually, as I recall, they actually started to do a Saturday morning or afternoon, like Elvira style show. Like for a very short period of time, they moved into, we're going to host horror things.
Joe Bob Briggs.
Yeah. Except it was these two radio nerds who were personable on the radio. Like I was never like a morning radio shock jock like listener, but all my friends were into John and Ken. They were like, "Oh my god, John and Ken is on." I was like, "Okay," but yeah, they didn't translate to the screen like in any capacity. So the show didn't last long, and
squat gun.
That's it. That's their 15 minutes in horror. So We'll probably dive back into some Friday the 13th at some point because we've really only touched on one movie for the most part. In 3 episodes, we've done a lot of Jason Goes to Hell. But I thought that I'd try and take us out of that for a little bit and see if we can find the right answer to the question, what is the best werewolf movie? Which is a kind of a difficult question, but for me, it's not difficult at all because there really are only 2 real answers in my mind. Mm-hmm. And while there are tens of thousands of werewolf movies, some of them are watchable, some of them are not. I mean, they're like shark movies. Some of them are fun and ridiculous, and others are just like, what was the one that just came out? Amityville Island, which tried to blend Jaws and the Amityville horror in a very poor fashion.
How does that work?
Oh, it didn't. It didn't. Don't fool yourself. It didn't.
Please tell me, Tom, you watched that. Please tell me.
Basically, it was a group of people came to this island, and
oh god,
one of them was from Amityville. Not Amityville, as in the horror. Yeah. So yeah, it was ill-conceived, ill-executed, and you should never watch it. Unless you really have nothing to do.
Was she possessed, or was it just what? I mean, why?
Somebody just thought, like we've talked about going outside the box and doing things a little bit differently. Somebody was like, well, how do we put a couple of things together and try and make something? But it was really bad. The production was bad. It was camcorder productions. It was home movie stuff, and it was not good. It was not good. So there's far better shark movies. I'm sure we'll do a shark episode at some point.
Oh yeah.
But the werewolf movies, so first off, with werewolf movies, there's really only that I can think of. And we're talking werewolf now, not so much the wolf man, because wolf man and werewolf are different things, at least in the long run. They both have similarities, but the werewolf notion is where you go all wolf versus just getting hairy palms and and face and so on. Yeah, I'm looking at you. Jim. I'm looking at you. So the werewolf genre really only has two that I can think of actual franchises. The first is the obvious one. It's the Howling. There are, I believe, 8 Howling movies, even though none of them connect outside of the first and the second, just a little tiny bit. The rest of them are just standalone. Here's a werewolf movie, and here we go. The other one is Ginger Snaps, and I think they've done 4 Ginger Snaps.
4,
I know there's 3, maybe 4.
I think the fourth one was like a prequel.
Was it? Yeah. So
yeah, something weird.
So there's that. But I can't think of anything else that is actually a franchise. Now, there is a sequel to American Werewolf in London, which is American Werewolf in Paris.
Oh, I forgot about that.
It's really awful. But so there are a couple that have some sequels, but I wouldn't necessarily say that there's a franchise for werewolf movies outside of the Howling and Ginger Snaps. Now, that doesn't necessarily make either of them better or worse than anything else. But for me, and part of this is purely because of nostalgia is why I rank one over the other as a kid. For me, the Howling, the first Howling, and we're just going to talk about the first Howling, and because that's the only one that matters, is to me the best werewolf movie that was ever made. The caveat to that is, and this is the movie I just watched last night because I hadn't seen it in a long time and I wanted to get a refresher, is American Werewolf in London.
Oh.
And basically, if you really held my feet to the fire, it would be like 1 and 1A, because they are both truly equally good movies and good werewolf movies, and are both really good from tone and texture and so on. And so those are my nominations. You guys have any nominations as far as anything beyond those two? And of course there are a number. There's Dog Soldiers.
Yeah.
There is I'm trying to think of like the legitimately good one.
The Underworld movies at all?
Oh, so I mean, kind of. That is a werewolf, certainly.
Yeah.
But it's not like, that's a kind of a crossover thing,
right?
But
yeah,
I mean,
it
would fall in the right category. I mean, it's got extras, but certainly has legitimate werewolves. Incidentally, you can buy a dead werewolf on eBay right now.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I saw that. You can buy the dead carcass of Ray's on eBay right now from Underworld. It's only $1,800. So Underworld, that's a fair addition. But anything that you can think of from a single, there's Wolfen from back in the day. There's Company of Wolves. There's
Company of Wolves. There was one back in when Kevin Williamson was like a huge person, Scream and all that. And I Know What You Last Summer. There was one he done called Cursed.
Okay.
It had Christina Ricci in it. And it was about her. It was kind of like a ripoff of Ginger Snaps a little bit, but it was that 90s,
I know what you're talking about. Oh my
yeah.
God. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Didn't it have, oh my God, it was like total teenage, teeny bopper. Yep. Holy cow. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I've actually never seen the whole thing, but I have seen pieces of it. Yeah. It's a very camp thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's Wolf Cop.
Wolf Cop.
That's true. Yeah.
He just screamed no. He's like, no.
With the guy's werewolf or a wolf man?
Oh, yeah. The guy's penis turns into a werewolf.
And thank you for coming tonight. We'll see you next week.
See you next week, guys.
Oh, man.
Tom, that's one you have to watch. It's about a guy that's a wolf, and he's a cop, and he becomes a werewolf, and he's
a werewolf, and they
do exactly what they say.
Wow. But are you nominating any of these as best
No, hell
movie?
no.
Okay.
First wasn't bad. No, not Wolf Cough. Wolf Cough. I think there's even a second one. If I remember right, there was a second one.
Okay.
And then go away.
See, now Trish is talking about Teen Wolf. That would definitely be Wolfman genre.
Yeah.
Because he does not go all wolf.
Oh. But that scene where he's in the bathroom and then he opens the door and his dad's a wolf too. And it's like, oh my God. And there's the dude drops dong in that movie. End of the credits. Just fucking just puts it out there. And you can still see it today.
That's it's not a bad movie at all. I mean, not a bad movie, but he doesn't go full wolf. No, he doesn't go full wolf, nor does he go eating people. I feel like the werewolf has to eat some people to be considered a true werewolf movie.
I don't know. He danced on top of a car. I mean, that was pretty
terrible. That was it.
Terrible.
Although I will say, considering just by the director and seeing the films that the director made before making American Werewolf in London, if you look at that, if you say, hey, it's like a Friday movie, The Blues Brothers, Animal House, he's gonna make a werewolf movie
and Thriller.
And Thriller.
Oh, that came later,
right? And everyone's just like, he's gonna make a werewolf movie, and then you see the movie, and it's got that little touch in it, because like at the very end, where like the woman screaming, she's like, "Oh my God!" and then it just cuts to that song, and it's just like upbeat, and it's like, yeah, they just killed this woman's lover, and then like, doo, 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 doo.
Yeah, that's a fair point, because with the Howling and Joe Dante, you kind of knew what you were going to get. Joe is going to give you a Joe movie. And he certainly did. But that is fair. That's like one of those things like, hey, Michael Keaton's gonna be Batman. Really? Is that gonna happen? Is that gonna work? And it worked. So that's a very fair argument for elevation over the Howling.
If you look at what he did after too, it's like he did Twilight Zone movie, but I mean that was kind of
that was
problems with that. But I mean, he did the Three Amigos. He did Beverly Hills Cop 3. He never went back. He did Beverly Hills Cop 3. He didn't do 1 or 2, but he did 3.
I mean, he did Three Amigos. I didn't know that.
Of Eddie Murphy's career.
Huh.
But no, seriously, Beverly Hills Cop 2 is the better movie. I'll just say that.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
But before we get off topic, back to
for another movie show, we'll talk Beverly Hills Cop, the trilogy.
Back to the Howling.
So
stories about that.
So a couple of things. Like I said, I watched American Werewolf in London last night, so I'm going to throw a few things out at you. Number one, I don't think that when I saw it as a kid, I don't think I grasped all of it, the nuances of it, and I think that's why the Howling still works and wins for me. Like the soundtrack, I didn't really understand. Doing the Blue Moon thing, and all. I was like, as a kid, I wasn't grasping all of that. There was a lot of nuances that I didn't understand. I still don't really understand a lot of the weird like dream sequences, like the Nazi wolves and stuff. I'm like, I have to watch the commentary because I don't understand this at all. It's fine and it's weird and crazy, but I don't understand like what was I want to know the thought process of, so we wanted him to have a dream, and so we decided on Nazi werewolves. Like, okay. The chick, Alex, is played by, I'm not gonna remember her name now. Is played by
I just saw it today.
I should have had this written down, because when I found out, I was like, "Oh my God, that's crazy."
It's Jenny Agutter.
Yes, that's correct. Correct. Now, Jenny Agutter. Now, she also happens to be the chick from Logan's Run.
Yep.
She also happens to be the chick from Child's Play 2.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, she was the stepmom.
And she was in the Avengers.
There you go. I knew you was going to say that.
Yeah. Not a large role, but she's in the Avengers. She's like a background, she
was in
politician style character.
Was it Winter Soldier?
Was it Winter Soldier? Oh, maybe it's both.
Because it was the one with Robert Redford, and she was one of the agents. And come find out the spoiler alert,
that is Winter Soldier.
Johansson's part.
Yep.
So she's in both. She's in Avengers and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, she's in both. Yeah, she wasn't. Yeah.
Yep.
Because
I thought that was interesting. I was like, because I was watching her and I'm looking at her and I'm like, I feel like I know who you are, lady. And then when I saw the credits, I was like, oh yeah, there it is. Drop it like it's hot. So that's fun. The doctor that's in it is in tons of things. He's in all kinds of weird horror crap. David Naughton, I don't recall him ever seeing him again. Now I know he's obviously done stuff, but I can't recall anything that he moved on to do. Anybody off the top of your head can think of a David Naughton?
There is a movie out. I'm gonna have to hold it, Christy. I cannot. It's a comedy, and he stars in it. And it's got him, and it was Gunnar Hansen before he passed away, that played Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Okay.
And it was funnier than hell. It was about them making a horror movie, and it had her, and it had the artist chick from Evil Dead in it, Jim. The original Evil Dead, the artist chick, the tree raping chick, she was in it. Christy, what was that called? She's looking at
like hamburger. No, hot dog.
Hot dog the movie.
He was on the hot dog
that one.
Well, I'm actually looking at his IMDb, and while he's done some odds and ends of movies, he dove heavily into TV, heavily into TV. So he's got a ton of credits.
Planet of the Apes. He was on an episode of Planet of the Apes, the Planet of the Apes television series. Who watched that?
Wow.
I have that on DVD. Thank you, sir. Incidentally, he was also in Amityville Horror, The New Generation.
What? He was in Sharknado 5.
So he's bumped around, but but he was good, and so was the guy who played the and I think this was another thing that was weird to me for the werewolf movie, was having the zombie guys around. Like, I didn't understand the zombie guy who was like, because I'd never seen a zombie guy. I didn't understand what they were trying to do. I was like, no, he just should be dead. What are we doing here? But I like that addition. I think that was a cool thought process of hey, if you kill us, we walk around forever. So I think that as an adult, the American Werewolf in London is growing on me quite a bit because I get a lot more. I'm seeing a lot more. But the Howling is just so. I don't know if it's so perfect to me. Like, it's a freaking perfect movie. I can't find any real. Oh, I have a question for you guys later. Maybe we'll figure this out finally. Yeah, because this is horror night, so we're going to try and figure something out that has been bugging me for my whole life. But anyway, the Howling, and incidentally, in both cases of the Howling, it doesn't seem like it's too bad to become a creature of the night, because you get to date some hot chicks, man. It's like, it's okay. You get the nurse, and in the Howling, you get the crazy, sister who's walking around naked in the woods. It's okay. It's not a bad life, I don't think.
So I was comparing transition scenes where the Howling compared to American Werewolf from London, and the Howling, 3 minutes. It takes them 3 minutes to go from human to the werewolf, and it's just like about a minute, 30 seconds in, it kind of drags. But at least in American Werewolf in London, like, he's like making noises. He's like, it's so goddamn hot.
Sure,
gets naked.
Well, and you've got the blue moon going on. I think the blue moon really saves it, because he's just screaming and stretching and doing all kinds of things. Yeah. But the blue moon, I think, makes that scene amazing. Well, but I think because it's so lit, and this is a thing with films this is oftentimes where you get things kind of dark, because it hides things. And so I think because it's so lit, especially like when his hand is all like, looks, it's cool that it's doing, but it's like, dude, that's so fake. Like, it just is so fake. Like, it's so weird to, it was lit so brightly that the transformation, while cool, was never like as dramatic. Like, it was more funny than the Howling. The Howling was like, this dude is like,
ladders in the face is going.
And his face is stretching, and the teeth. It's just like, oh my god. It's again, that's why I say. I mean, I really think these are very comparable movies. They're very different, but I think they're very comparable in what they did and how they accomplished it.
And for the time, that was like that was
no
way
CG
above what they were doing. That was way above that. Anything that came out before that, it was like you never seen anything like that.
Yeah, no CG. That was all practical effects.
And was it Rick Baker on American Werewolf in London?
The story is with that, Rick Baker was actually hired to do the Howling. And like what's his name? The director of American Werewolf in London is like, I'm making a werewolf movie. We want you, Rick. He's like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
How crazy is it that both of the? I didn't even realize this. I thought one came before the other. How crazy is this? They both came out in 1981.
Yeah.
They came out the same year.
That's
amazing.
We'll about this here in a minute.
American came out in August. When did the Howling come out?
It was Howling came out before then because I saw the Howling at the drive-in when I was younger, and I specifically remember
Howling was first. Howling was first in March.
Yeah. I specifically remember when I went and saw the Howling at the drive-in, they had the American Werewolf in London trailer at the beginning. Instead, it's coming out that year. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And I just remember seeing the Howling at the drive-in. I was like probably 4 or 5 years old. And I just remember the images, like of her in that room and like the projector playing and like the guys there behind her, and then later on the wolf transforming, and you see, I just remember images of that when I was a kid, and then when I finally saw the movie, I freaking fell in love with it.
Yeah, I mean, neither of those transformation sequences, especially the Howling. I mean, we have to give it to the Howling where it's like, okay, at some point, maybe that chick probably should have run.
Yeah, like she's just standing there watching, like, what's going to happen?
But maybe she was like, damn, that looks really good too. You know, who knows? Like, oh shit, that's pretty awesome. Oh, okay, I'm gonna die now.
She was in so much shock that she's just
that's the theory. She's like, what the fuck are you supposed to do? I mean, this dude is like exploding in front of you.
That was the one with the brain chick, right? He's like, I'll give you a piece of my mind.
And yeah. That's Robert Picardo, man.
What?
Yeah, that's Robert Picardo.
I met him. And I was very, 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 very drunk when I met him, and I think he got mad at me. I was it was a Star Trek convention, and I walked up to him. No. I was at the bar, and the headline guest of the Star Trek convention was MacGyver. Mm-hmm. Richard Dean Anderson.
Okay.
MacGyver was in Stargate.
Yeah.
So he's the headline of this, I guess it wasn't just Star Trek. It was like, sci-fi con.
Sure.
Well, I went to the MacGyver panel thinking, oh man, like he's going to talk about MacGyver. This could be awesome. Like he's going to talk behind the scenes. Maybe he's going to talk some trash about people, about MacGyver. And he's also he played himself on The Simpsons. And I was like, I hope he talks about The Simpsons. And, so I'm watching, I'm sitting there, like the first person, like he's like, oh, I've never done this before. So if you guys want to ask me questions, go ahead and ask me questions. So I guess it was like his first con doing a panel. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. And like the first question was like, if you could go 500 years of the past or 500 years of the future, which would you choose? I'm like, what the fuck? And I was so fucked up. My dad was like, get the fuck out of here. You're going to get us in trouble. So I left the panel. And when I walked out the door, his table was right there outside the door, and I walked up to him and I was like, how much do you charge for an autograph? Although I probably wasn't as coherent as I thought I was. And he looked at me, and then he looked at his handler, and he was just like, $30. And I was like, that's my kind of price. And he wouldn't shake my hand. He had like hand sanitizer. He wouldn't shake my hand. I ended up getting a Gremlins 2 photo.
Oh my God.
I was like, I picked the worst movie out of all the movies that he was like. I should have picked the Howling thing. No, I picked the freaking Gremlins 2 with the woman Gremlin.
That's still kind of awesome.
That's crazy. Yeah, Robert Picardo,
I'm sure he doesn't remember me either. I hope he doesn't remember me.
Your whole.
Oh, he does not remember you. You do not live in his head. Don't worry.
But also, that was a fun show because that was also the show where, what's his name? The guy from Reading Rainbow.
LeVar Burton.
Yeah, he was there, and he was super drunk. I guess he just doesn't like doing, like, I at the time, this was before the Reading Rainbow got rebooted or something, so he didn't want to be there. So he got drunk, and then at the panel, he was just calling everyone in the panel a bunch of nerds. Like, you guys are just a bunch of nerds. And we have an autograph of him, and the autograph is just like he just like signed it like this. There's like squiggly lines and circles. Like, I don't even know if that's his actual signature. He was just like, yeah, and then just gave it to us. It's like, what?
Oh no!
Wow!
No!
Wow!
But yeah, The Howling's good movie.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, man. Robert Picardo, freaking D. Wallace.
D. Wallace,
is awesome.
He's coming here next year.
Red Buttons is in the thing. I mean, it's a crazy cast.
Yeah,
and it's awesome.
Cujo,
and the idea that it's a camp for werewolves to accept who and what they are is so bizarre. And incidentally, it's nothing like the book. The original book is not that. So you can read the book and get a different experience. There's actually 3 Howling books done by Gary.
Wasn't there like a Carradine in it? One of the Carradines?
Yeah, David Carradine's in it. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or not David Carradine.
No.
The older one.
The older one.
Robert
Robert Carradine.
Robert.
Which one's the older one? Robert or David? David is the Kung Fu guy, right? Or is that Robert?
Then there's one that played on the Nerd.
The Kung Fu guy.
David Carradine is? So it's Robert Carradine that was in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
John Carradine.
John there it is.
Carradine.
John
That's
Carradine. That's what we're trying to do.
I'm looking at it right now.
John Carradine.
I was like, where's that guy?
John Carradine.
David's Kill Bill.
Yes.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, and that's the Kung Fu guy.
Yeah.
Kung Fu, the Bruce, what the would-be Bruce Lee movie or TV show.
There's too many Carradines.
Yeah, they're like Baldwins. They're just everywhere.
They're all Timmy Baldwin someplace.
I thinking back to I've seen The Howling like 1,000 times, so it's pretty well burned into my head. Although most of the viewings were from TV, so I recorded it on TV. So I was watching edited, versions of this thing until I finally got the VHS or something like many years later. So it is interesting to watch the non-edited version, especially when they're going into at the beginning where they're going into the porn booth and all that kind of stuff. It's a little different when you're watching the whole thing. They do both definitely lean into the comedy side, which I think helps a lot. It's not just this serious, like we're just so serious all the way through the movie.
Yeah.
They understand that it's kind of a ridiculous concept, the werewolf, and they just play it up. But the Howling did make use of the silver bullets, whereas the American Werewolf in London was like, dude, that's some BS. Don't even like literally they were like, come on.
Yeah, just shoot him.
He's a beast. Just shoot him.
So, and one thing too that a lot of people don't know, and for John Landis film, See You Next Wednesday is different in every film.
Oh my god!
It's like an Easter egg thing. Like it's in Trading Places, Spies Like Us, the Blues Brothers, and the Blues Brothers. It's like a King Kong type poster. It says "See You Next Wednesday." In the American Werewolf London, it's the porno. It's the porno goes to see in the movie. See You Next Wednesday.
Guys, and I totally forgot about one. Like, I know I want to change the subject real quick. We'll go back to Howling, but I totally forgot about one. I feel like an ass because this is one of my favorite ones. I'm gonna get hell. Silver Bullet.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
That's a fun.
Seeing that movie.
That's a fun cornball thing. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, we can go back to Howling. Sorry, I said
no, that's fine.
Favorite
that's
movie.
fine.
I was like, I forgot Silver Bullet.
Silver Bullet, yeah, Silver Bullet. That was on not too long ago. It was on TV. I know, prior to Halloween, it was on like TBS or something.
I had the DVD forever and just bought the Shot Factory Blu-ray. They came out with a nice Shot Factory Blu-ray edition. I bought it. Yep.
See, but the one thing about TV though is that's one thing I hate about TV is like they censor everything. So it's you miss out all the good stuff. Like I don't know how they do it, but the new Friday the 13th movie, that the reboot one.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of scenes in that movie with tits and obviously gore, but it's like, how are they showing that? Is it like a 30-minute movie when they show it like on TBS or Fox or whatever? Like,
well,
how many
they
scenes
crop
can
it.
you
They
show?
just crop it. They crop the scenes so that it's
Oh.
that's all that happens. Yeah, they just crop the scenes. They
Like when
zoom.
the chick's under the pier and he stabs her and pulls her up and like her tits come out, but like I guess like maybe just it doesn't show
They
her
lift
tits
the
because her
camera
head-
or the perspective.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's weird crops and cuts and
Oh,
yeah.
shame.
And all that stuff changes the context of the film, man. I mean, I remember when widescreen stuff first started happening, and I had a guy who was big into movies. He was explaining to me like, this is why the widescreen matters. Because I was like, dude, well, who cares? You're seeing what you're supposed to see. It's like you're seeing what you're supposed to see, but you're not seeing everything. And so like there was a shot that he did. He played Hunt for Red October. And he played the regular scene for me, and I was like watching it. And I'm like, okay, fine. And he says, now watch the widescreen version. It's a scene where Ramius is like taking the thing down deep or whatever, and he's doing all the math in his head and everything, right? And it's all this dramatic scene. And when you watch it, it's just him doing his math, and then like, okay, down, left, rudder, flip, blah, blah, blah. But in the widescreen version,
rudder, 30 quarters, 030.
Yeah.
Left in the quarter, 30 quarters, 30. How high? Also,
but in the movie, when he goes down, right? When on the widescreen version, he's over here focusing, and over to the right, his coffee cup is sliding down the table.
Yeah.
And he just kind of reaches over slowly and keeps it from falling off, right? Which just shows you more of the coolness of Ramius, because he's in control of everything.
Well,
and I was like, oh, that's cool. It's one of those things where it shows you that the filmmakers are doing things that we kind of want to see, and hence the widescreen releases of everything kind of change the way we saw movies now.
I also remember,
at least from the TV standpoint, home video.
Yeah.
Not to rain on your parade there about Hunt for Red October though. I lived that was my life for a couple of years in the Navy. I lived Hunt for Red October, and it's not as dramatic as that movie is made out to be. The caterpillar system and the oh god, just like yeah, and also the captain doesn't do that. Like that's all up to the navigator. The navigator's the one who plots out the charts and makes sure you don't run into the water.
Well, yeah, but in Red October they did that, and he was just like, "F you, I'm doing this. Listen to me." He just took over. He was like, "Fuck you, Jim. I'm going to do this right now."
I would be the one who'd be driving the boat. Just listening to orders like turn left here, and it was like, all right,
turn left here.
And I also remember another certain movie you discovered on widescreen that, what was it called? That had like
Lawrence of Arabia.
No, it was where it had the 3 AT-AT walkers. It had the 5 instead of the 3.
We're not talking about AT-ATs today. We're not doing the AT-AT talk today again. Not again. So Eric says he would now like to see a werewolf submarine movie.
There we go.
Yeah.
What
if there was a werewolf on a submarine? Jim, what would happen?
Well, for one, because you don't see the sun for X amount of days, it'd actually be beneficial. Like you would never know the dude's a werewolf until you made a port call. And if you made a port call on the night of a full moon, or otherwise, unless like the werewolf is looking through the periscope at night, and then there's happens to be a full moon, and he just eats the entire.
But
crew.
Is it okay? But here's the thing: the full moon happens regardless of whether you can see it or not. It's like the tree falling in the woods. So technically, if the moon is out and it's full, it's a cycle of the werewolf. It's the cycle.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So theoretically, even if he was underwater, the cycle of the moon would happen, and he could still technically become a werewolf.
Right. Well, so on a ballistic missile submarine, the one with all the nuclear missiles, they train daily for security incidents where someone in the crew goes nuts and grabs a gun, starts shooting people. They have a procedure to follow to take down the guy. So as long as they don't kill, like the torpedo man of the watch who has the keys to all the weapons, they'd be pretty set to take him down.
You have silver bullets on a submarine?
Oh, is this a silver bullet werewolf? Oh, then
who knows? Who knows until you're there, right? You could be like, hey, we got him, pang. Oh, silver bullet guy. Damn.
Oh, God.
Well, I guess
they could throw him in the freezer and try to freeze it.
There you go. He get back to land.
Hold the door. Let's see.
So
what do we got?
You'll have to figure out how to write the werewolf submarine story.
There you go.
You already have a guy asking for it.
I'll turn that into a totally rad comic book.
That's what I'm saying.
Werewolf of boobs. How many werewolves of boobs are there? Not a lot.
Nards. Yeah.
Let's see. What next year is any anniversary of any werewolf thing? Is there a werewolf thing?
Dude, next year is 2021. It's the 40-year anniversary of both of these movies we're talking about.
No way.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, 81. Yeah.
You think there's not going to be some homages next year? Come on,
Jim. I'm doing an homage cover for Totally Rad. I'm doing it. I am doing it next year.
You heard it here, folks. You heard it here.
I want it. I want that spot. I'll do the furry.
Years of werewolves.
I'll do the furry, cute. What's her name at the ending of the Howling for it?
Oh,
Wallace. You're gonna do
the furry,
a white
cute.
werewolf. You're gonna do the cute werewolf.
No, I lied. No way.
That's another one of those scenes where she's going wolf, and then they're like, cut, and then it cuts to like this dog food dish, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Like I have something to show you.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm after all this talk, I think if I was told you have to pick one or the other, I think it's still the Howling. I think I've not yet heard an argument that would shift me to.
Well, there is a Werewolf of London song.
No, there's not.
Yes, there is.
There is. There definitely is. And yeah, I mean, how many?
In my world, there's probably not.
I mean, I will give American Werewolf in London the soundtrack bump.
Yeah,
I'll give it to him. Although I love the soundtrack from the Howling because it's got all that crazy old organ music, which I love. I love that soundtrack.
Creepy
it's so good.
Organ.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's so great and it's so cheesy and it's perfect. But you know, Landis and his crew definitely landed all of the songs in the right place and so on.
So they released Waxworks Records released a double LP of that in 2017, and the album art was done by Francisco Francavilla.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Which
at the same time, it's really cool. Is you said Waxworks, and there was that movie Waxworks that had the werewolf scene in it.
That's true. That's true. Hey, does that count as a werewolf movie?
And the reboot had Paris Hilton. Oh no, that was House of Wax. House of Wax. House of Wax.
Jared had Sam and yeah. Never mind.
Wait, wasn't House of Wax? Didn't it have wasn't there a rapper in that one? In the remake?
I'm sure.
No, it's just Paris Hilton.
It was just her. No other cast.
Yeah, it's basically just her. That's what I remember. Like Paris Hilton's in it. Paris Hilton had a giant house of wax. Like they literally had a giant house of wax in that movie.
Yeah, Paris Hilton was 50% of the wax.
Yep. Oh my! I'm not touching that one. Do you guys want to hear like a really like short, cool story?
Yes.
No.
I have her autograph.
That is a short story. That's a very short story.
Yeah, I got a poster from Repo, the genetic.
Why are you so ashamed about that?
Wow, House of Wax had Alicia Cuthbert in it, man.
Yeah, I like her.
That's
the girl next door.
Huh. I don't see any rappers though. You're right. I don't see any rappers.
I might be confusing it with another movie. There's so many movies that came out in the early 2000s.
Halloween Resurrections, what you confused it with. It had what's his name?
LL Cool J.
No,
Resurrection had Busta Rhymes. Was it Busta
Rhymes?
Rhymes?
No, which one was the one? There was one of LL Cool J though.
Oh, H2O. He was the guard.
Yeah, H2O. Yeah.
Forgot.
Yeah. I get those those are the ones I get confused a lot. No.
Resurrection with H2O.
Paul Rudd.
It's like
They're direct sequels. They're direct sequels.
Paul Rudd's in part 6. Now, wasn't there? I swear to God, I saw a horror movie. I think it was like Snoop Doggy Dogg or something that came out around the same time. The House of Wax came out. It might not have been Snoop Doggy Dogg.
God, what was all the the Joel Silver. There was a House on Haunted Hill. There was 13 Ghosts. There was Ghost Ship. I don't remember any rappers been in any of them.
I remember Ghost Ship.
Love Ghost Ship.
Let's see. Filmography. Snoop Dogg.
Oh God.
Soul Plane is the only thing I have seen with him in it.
Soul Plane. Really? Wait, you've only seen Soul Plane. He's in a lot of fucking movies. Bones. He's in Bones.
Nope. Bones. Yes.
You ever saw Bones?
Nope.
Wow.
It's kind of awesome.
He was in the remake of Starsky and Hutch.
Yep.
Oh yeah, he was Huggy Bear. So I've seen that. That's a small part, but yes, okay.
Scary Movie 5.
I've not seen it.
Oh, I forgot.
I know better than that. I saw the first 3. I know what's going on. I'm out.
Well, after the first 3, like they got real bad. Like the first 3 were made by
the Wayans.
The Wayans.
Yeah. It was by the guy that done. Was it David Zucker that done them? That done Airplane?
4 had Charlie Sheen, and they were doing like Signs homages. And I was like, nah.
That was
3.
That was 3. That's the one where they're holding
the last one I saw.
And then he goes, and that shell pops out of the shovel. And it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. 4 was War of the Worlds with that Tom Cruise looking guy. War of the World with Tom Cruise.
I have not seen that.
Yeah, that one. Bad bitch to his daughter.
Yeah,
I'm trying to find it. Fuck, what was his name? I could see his face. I just can't say his name.
What was it again?
So Trish and Robert have thrown out Tales from the Hood. I have not seen that movie.
That was good.
I haven't seen that one.
Eric got the Bones before you guys had Bones. So yeah, we got that. I haven't seen that either.
There was actually 2 sequels to the second one was okay. I haven't seen the third one yet. It just came out this Halloween, actually. First one's good. It has little bitty dolls in it that like come to life, and yeah. So if you like dolls, you'll like that.
Oh, Ice-T is in Leprechaun 5. Leprechaun in the Hood.
Jim,
he is. So, because I rewatched this the other. I literally watched all the Leprechaun movies. Like,
oh my god!
And Leprechaun in the Hood, it goes to like the 70s, and they're like in a subway, and they find the statue of the Leprechaun, and what's his name? Ice-T takes the chain off, and then he comes to life, kills his buddy, and then he's about to die, and the chain's flying through the air, and it lands on the Leprechaun, and he freezes in stone. And then, but he has the Leprechaun's flute, which when he plays the flute, anyone digs whatever he does. Of course, he becomes like a big record maker. And in his office, he has a glass display case with the Leprechaun inside it, like in stone. And then someone robs him and takes the chain off the Leprechaun, and that's how he comes back. But then, I mean, he dies in the movie, but then it comes back to Leprechaun 6, Back to the Hood. Which they sent him to space.
Okay.
The movies make no sense. Like the 4 movies that goes 1, 2, 3, and 4. He's in space, and then somehow he goes from space to the hood, back to the hood, and then they rebooted it.
The first one was good. I give it that. I mean, it wasn't good, but it was camp good. Second one the one with the casino.
No, that was the third one. Third one's the one where he's in Vegas.
That was Last Jedi with the casino. Oh, you're thinking of Last Jedi
with the little creatures or whatever they're riding.
The second one has the guy from Vamp in it. Old guy. He was also Morty in Seinfeld.
God, it's been a long time since I've seen that one.
He's been in a lot of B horror movies.
For some reason, when they're on Sci-Fi, like I turn Sci-Fi Channel on and Leprechaun's on, it's always the casino one. So that's the third one, right?
The third one.
Okay, it's always that one that's on because it's got the chick from Texas Chainsaw 2 in it. That's always remember. Carolina Williams.
Yep. Right. Is that the third one? Yeah, it is the third one. Vegas. 3. Yes. I
always remember that terrible makeup. These guys like, oh, you stole me coin. The guy has like the terrible makeup. He has like the beard and it's like out to here, and that's it. And he's got like buck teeth. And
can you imagine being Warwick Davis in the 80s, going off the set of Return of the Jedi and then asking to be in this lead role for a fantasy movie, and then like going up to him being like, hey, in the 90s, you become a leprechaun, and and you think every film is going to be better than the last, but it gets worse. You go to Vegas on the 3rd, you go to space on the 4th, and don't even get me started on the last 2. Oh, and by the way, when they do a sequel to the first movie, you come back.
Do you remember who played in the reboot?
Actually, I don't. I don't know.
Oh boy, it was oh god, I'm gonna get hell for this. We'll probably get flagged. It's the guy, the wrestler, the little wrestler.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, that played him.
I can't think of his name. I know who you're talking about because he was a leprechaun on freaking wrestling.
Yeah,
he was running around wearing green and doing crazy in the WWF. Yeah,
if I remember, I think like WWE like made the movie, and they got him to play the leprechaun.
Oh
wow!
So, there you go. Look it up. The more you know.
That's funny.
Yeah, Leprechaun Returns, which was a direct follow-up of the first movie.
I have seen no Leprechaun movies. None.
I envy you so bad.
How have you never seen any of those movies?
Nope. Never. Oh, wow. Hornswoggle. James said Hornswoggle. Yeah.
Hornswoggle. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I have not seen a single one.
Watch the first one because it's got Jennifer Aniston in it.
Yeah, Jennifer Aniston.
Last time.
Yeah, the first one's the one where it's got Jennifer Aniston in it. And it's got. That's like the only one that's like the guy.
That's how you sell the movie. Leprechaun. It's got Jennifer Aniston in it.
Pretty nose job, Jennifer Aniston. Yep. Also, it's like the one where it's like it's the most like what's the word? Like the most like the guy goes to Ireland, captures him somehow. They don't show him capturing him.
No,
brings him back, has a 4-leaf clover that holds him in the crate for like 20 years or 10 years or something like that. And then and then after that, like the other movies after that, it's just like they just start making shit up. They're like, oh, I can't touch like in one of the, I think it was the third one, or no, maybe it was the second one where cast iron. He can't touch cast iron, like it burns him.
That's the third one. That is the third one.
The third one?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was in the third one. I remember that. It might have been the second one too. I don't know because I haven't seen the second one in a while, but that was in the third one.
Yeah. Yeah, they all kind of blur together. Like the 2 and 3 are so almost similar. Like, and then the fourth one is so bad shit. It's like he's in space. He comes out of a dude's dick. Yeah. Like the dick grows and he pops out and like with the top hat and everything. And like the woman who's about to have sex with him just like,
she's like,
oh man.
Yeah. One other movie I could think of that Tom has to see if he's never seen. I want to see Jim's reaction on this if he's ever seen it, because it's kind of a werewolf movie. You ever heard of a movie called Rawhead Rex?
Yeah, but I haven't seen it and I don't know anything about it. But the title is 100%. I've heard it.
That's going to be you guys' news assignment. You have to watch it. It's the worst movie, one of the worst movies. It was Clive Barker, and it was after Hellraiser. And it was his short story, next big horror movie. It's supposed to be like the big horror movie of the 80s after Hellraiser, and no.
Have you seen Gonjosaurus Rex?
No.
We're going to talk about Rexes. Let's talk about Gonjosaurus. It's a dinosaur who eats pot.
Yeah. So does he just like sit around like, well, he's hungry. He's got the munchies.
Yeah, he's hungry, so he's got the munchies and he's chowing on the people. Yeah. It was one of these things that we found in Blockbuster one night, and it was like, are we going to really rent this? Are we going to spend our $3 on Gonjosaurus? And we did. Yeah. And it was filmed with a camcorder, pretty sure as I recall. It's terrible, awful, but it's probably great if you're high.
Oh yeah,
because clearly they all thought that they made a great piece of work, and they were all obviously high making the movie.
So they took it serious.
So, David, you said the Rawhead Rex was like super bad, right?
Oh, it's camp.
It was before Hellraiser. I'm looking at it.
Before Hellraiser?
It came out a year before Hellraiser, which is ironic that this movie, like, if your movie is as bad as you're saying it is, like. He made this movie before Hellraiser, so just imagine like people making movies are like, well, he made this one about this. Well, he's got this another one about demons in the box. So I guess we'll just give him a shot again.
Watch the trailer later. Just watch the trailer. That's all you got to do.
Demons in a box.
I own the movie. It's wow. Okay.
Demons in a box, and the demons are named after Cinnabons.
Yep. How many did you order? 6 Cinnabons. Okay.
God, I love it. We're the Cinnabons. Like, I'm telling you, man, like kids today, like go to a fat kid who's like walking out of a Cinnabon, and then they're like, hey, do you want to see a horror movie from the 80s? And they'll be like, yeah. And then they'll be like,
it's got Cinnabons in it.
And then it'll be like, it's got Cinnabites in it. And you're thinking, wow, killer pastries? This is going to be a great movie. And then you go see it, and it's like, there's no killer pastries at all.
You lying bastards.
They're pasty, but they're not pastries.
And then you give them a copy of the Ginger Dead Man and go, well, that's got a killer pastry in it, or well, what is a killer cookie in it?
Killer cookie. It's Gary Busey.
I think it qualifies as a cookie is a pastry, isn't it? I think if you put frosting on it or something, it becomes a pastry.
Where are the bakers in the audience?
I know, right? We need some clarification. What exactly is a pastry, everybody? And does Ginger Dead Man qualify?
I can't believe how many of those movies have been made. And they did Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong.
Yep. Seen it.
To give credit where credit is due, Evil Bong had Tommy Chong in it. It's like if you're going to cast anybody in your movie, Tommy Chong would be the perfect cast.
See, Ganjasaurus did not have Tommy Chong.
Did it have any relevant? Like, was Cheech Marin like show up like, hey,
no,
machine? Nope, nothing.
No.
I guess he does like kid movies now, so I guess he associate himself as well. They reunited. Although I did so.
So Russell says pastries have filling. This is what makes it a pastry.
So if
fair,
yeah,
fair.
Well, it could be a sad cookie then. Never mind.
Filling, not feelings.
Sorry, filling.
Feelings. Evil Bong.
Dinner in a show when you see this.
God. Oh my God.
Let's go down the road of full moon movies. Tom, have you seen any?
I have seen very few of the full moon movies. Very few. Yeah.
Oh. They just announced, which I had to reveal this real quick. Like Jim would be like, or Tim, I don't give a shit. Tom, but Jim and NECA just revealed they got the rights to bring out the Puppet Master figures in the little boxes, like with Jason Voorhees and all.
Yeah.
See, I'm way more excited that they've had the license to do it, but I'm more excited that they're actually bringing out the chick Gremlin. She is getting a NECA figure sometime next year. And it looks amazing. It looks amazing.
It might look better than how it did in the movie.
There's a pop for her, but there's really very little merchandise for her. So when that came out, it was like super cool. They did great Gremlins figures. Their Gremlins figures were amazing. I bought the only one I ended up buying, weirdly enough, is the electric Gremlin. He's like this big, and he's just like blue plastic, like really like flat, And I was like, that's amazing. I'll pay $10 for that.
Yeah, that's
any day of the week. I'll pay $10 for the electric Gremlin. But all of their toys have been amazing for the Gremlins, and now they're expensive. If you don't have them, they're expensive.
It's always exciting to see like not mainstream horror movies get toys, like Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Like there was a couple action figures for that are super expensive, and the pops, some of the Killer Clown pops are going for stupid money now, and like they have the clowns. It's like, give me all the clowns from Killer Clowns. I have 4. I need the other like 6, and I need the Jumbo Clown. Like they can literally do the scene recreation with the Jumbo Clown. And I hope they do it. I really hope they do. It's like these are selling well. I'd like to think. I don't know. I'm not Freddy Funko or whoever.
Well, in the old days, we had the movie Maniacs. That was that was a paradigm shift in toys. Was McFarlane and his movie Maniacs? Yeah. But now it's normal. Now everyone has horror licenses. I mean, normal, quote unquote. But the stuff, there's no Toys R Us anymore. So all of this stuff is highly specialized. Maybe there's 100,000 units of these things, and then they're gone. So, if you're not in on it when they happen, I mean, you're out of luck, man. You're out of luck. I like, as soon as they announced the chick gremlin, I can't think of her name. She has an actual name.
Yeah.
I went back and started looking at them. I was like, oh yeah, those Gremlins figures, those are cool. And they're just too expensive. They're just too expensive.
Oh,
and I would buy like loose ones.
Yeah.
Excuse me, but I can't find anybody that ever opened them. So
damn.
Going back to Jason Goes to Hell.
God.
I actually have the Jason figure that McFarlane put out, and it's the Jason Goes to Hell Jason. It's actually on my display case at my parents' house. Well, he also did like Army of Darkness.
He did the Crow. He did Halloween. He did Pumpkinhead. I mean, he changed the industry, is what he did. And that was right before he started getting all the sports licenses and stuff. I mean, he changed the industry. And he changed it in context, in as far as what you can do with a toy, as far as licensing. He changed sculpts. I mean, everything. There's a freaking Jaws McFarlane toy, man. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. I don't.
Yeah, look behind me.
I don't. And it's like $200, man. It's crazy.
What is that? I can't see it.
It's the 12
that
inch.
Is one of the that's Ash from Army of Darkness, the 12 inch.
The 12 inch one, the tall one.
Where?
I have all of those. It's right there, dude.
Right there.
Right there.
Right behind my head. Right under Brianna Banks' boob.
Yeah.
I see it now.
Yeah.
I have a Brianna Banks figure too.
Those are crazy figures, man. They're really cool, and they have sound.
Yeah.
So you go buy them, and like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's just this chick screaming. It's just
I remember wanting that one so bad, and I couldn't find it anywhere in Springfield, Missouri. KB, nobody had it.
I've got all four. I am thrilled to have all four.
Damn.
Yeah. The Michael Myers one, it's Laurie Strode just banging on the door. Let me in.
That's like, you can't have a talking Michael Myers doll with like, what's he gonna do?
Right.
Like
he's gonna go. Oh, he'll do the.
Or no, it would be really cool if it was Loomis going six times.
Yeah, that's what it should have been. That's what it should have been. Yeah, I shot him 6 times.
Or no, you would hit it and it would be, and then you hit the button again and then it would be 6 times.
Yeah, good old Loomis. Good old Loomis.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to talk about Halloween one of these days. I love that series. Love it.
Do you guys? Seriously, real quick, do you think if he was still alive, he'd still be doing Halloween movies?
He'd
be like 120 at this point, dude.
He said, he stops at 42.
Yeah.
So he would be in every single one. Well, granted, he might it would be like at this point, I'm sure it would be like a Stan Lee thing where he'd it's a blink and you'll miss it. Like, here he is at a diner. Oh, look, they're escorting Michael out of the psych ward, and there's a patient. And it's Loomis, just in a room going.
It would be like he'd get like food at the restaurant, and it'd be like 6 fries on it. He'd be like, "I only have 6 fries. 6 fries."
Can you imagine sitting there and just being him when they're making Halloween 3, and he's just sitting by the phone waiting, just like they're gonna call any minute. I'm going to be in the movie. I know they're going to call.
Well, no, wait a minute here. No, okay.
I sent David a picture yesterday, and it was John Carpenter at a con, and someone asked him how he feels about the new, whenever a new Halloween movie comes out. He goes, they could do all the reboots, they could do all the sequels to it, and it's just like, I just reached my hand out, and there's a check. It's like, that's got to be awesome. Just to know, they'll keep making Halloween movies, and he keeps getting paid.
Yeah. Well, that's like Michael Caine in Jaws: The Revenge.
Yeah.
He has said that he's never seen the movie, but it did buy him his house.
Yep.
So we're all in the wrong business, man.
Yeah. There's some people that some actors where they're like on TV shows, they're like, yeah, I've never seen an episode of the show, and it's just like, you play this main character and you've never seen any of the episodes, like scenes like where they're not in, they don't know anything about, they don't know any of the story. It's just like, how can you go your whole life just never watching that? Like, I don't know. Like, if I don't know. Yeah.
There was one actor that said that like he's never seen any movie he's ever been. It's a famous actor. I forgot who it was. He's never seen any movie he's ever been in. I'm like, wow.
That doesn't make sense to me because of all these premieres and everything. Like,
yeah,
you never went to a premiere. Like,
they said like he'd go to a premiere and he'd just leave. Like he'd go walk in and he'd sneak out and leave. He wouldn't go to the movie. I'm like,
he's eating popcorn. He's eating popcorn in the lobby, just like
he's in the bathroom.
He's just counting his money.
He said, "Yeah, I see a bucket of popcorn. He's got a bucket of money. He's going like 1, 2, 3."
Oh man, yeah.
So the Howling.
Howling. We did about 30 minutes on werewolves before we diverted off into everything else. That wasn't too bad.
We done good. We did good.
I've had my choice. It's still the Howling. Convince me it's not.
Oh.
Convince me that it's not. Or is it to you? Is that, Jim, what's your thought? Like, convince me that it's not the Howling.
American Werewolf.
Assuming that you like the American Werewolf better.
American Werewolf. I mean, it's John Landis. I like John Landis. I'm very biased because I like a lot of. Well, also Joe Dante does a lot of things.
Yeah. That
I really enjoy as well. But I mean, dude, I watched Animal House when I was like 7. I shouldn't have watched Animal House when I was 7, and that kind of shaped my life. Yep. I still quote it to this day. I quote a movie that was made freaking like almost 16 years before I was born, and no one my age is like, what are you talking about? Like, I'll be sitting there and I'll be quoting, Animal House, and they'll be like, what? Like, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. Yeah. John Landis. I mean, Blues Brothers, like, yeah, just 2 pieces of toast and 2 fried chickens and a Coke. Like, I mean, yeah. And, freaking, Kentucky Fried Movie is very, very underrated. Have you guys ever seen that?
It's been a long time since I've seen that one.
It's a forgotten gem pre-Animal House. And like, there's just like a random scene where like some dude's railing a chick in the shower.
You know what's funny is we talked about Thriller. So there was back in the day when Thriller was out, they put a videotape out of the making of Thriller, and so it had an interview with Michael Jackson and John Landis, and so Michael Jackson wanted John Landis to do this his video, and so they were asking, well, why? What have you seen? And the only movie that Michael Jackson had seen that John Landis made was Kentucky Fried Movie.
Oh my God.
That was it.
That's hilarious.
That's pretty good.
That's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, like there's
how do you watch that and be like, yeah, can you direct my horror movie music video?
Yeah, it wasn't even American Werewolf in London. It was Kentucky Fried Movie. Like, this guy will be great for this. Like you could have getting like John Carpenter or like any like George Romero. No, yeah. But also, who was the guy that did the makeup on that?
It was Rick Baker too, wasn't it?
It wasn't it Rick Baker?
I think it was
Rick Baker because the werewolf in Thriller, yeah,
that
was Rick Baker.
Was he in Thriller?
99% sure, yeah.
Yeah, because him and John Landis worked a lot. Like that's why he wanted him for American Werewolf in London. Like he says, I'm making a werewolf movie. He's like, I'm jumping off Howling doing it.
You're right. It was Rick Baker.
Yeah, Rick Baker. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The dancing zombies.
And that was a good werewolf, man. That was a cool.
Yeah.
That was a super cool werewolf. Even though it turned into a zombie thing, there was a werewolf too for a little while.
It had Vincent Price in it, so that he made it better.
Yeah.
So with American Werewolf in London, you have one of the first talking zombies in a movie.
Yep.
This predates Return of the Living Dead by 4 years.
Yep.
So better werewolf movie? I think so.
No, because I don't give a shit about zombies.
Also, they reference the Wolfman in American Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
But
American Werewolf in London said "F you" to the silver bullets.
Yep.
Yep, English accents. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Also, there's some big knockers in that movie when they're at that porno. I mean, like they could have cast anyone when they're like, look, if we're going to go to a porno movie theater, we're going to have the biggest titted woman we could get. And also, it's funny when like there's a man in there, killing people. Yeah. They go in there, and then the screen behind him, the woman, like the dude walks in on the woman, and then he goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he's like, "I don't know." He's like, "You're right," and then he just leaves.
Just leave.
Yeah, and then he then gets eaten, and yeah.
Great movie. The Howling had a cameo appearance by Forrest Ackerman.
Yep.
He was in the occult bookstore with when they were trying to figure out, like, hey, give me some werewolf books and stuff.
Yep.
John Landis gets killed by the werewolf in American Werewolf in London. Best werewolf movie.
I thought the Howling didn't have what's his name from Gremlins. He's always in a Joe Dante movie. What's his name?
Yes, same guy.
Yes.
Same guy, yeah. I never remember his name.
He's in like all of Joe Dante's movies.
Yeah. Gremlins and
I know what you're talking about. He's in every movie.
Yeah, he's in like virtually every Joe Dante movie. Yeah,
and he died this year, last year.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Like last year. God, I can't think of his name. He was also in Toy Soldiers.
Yes.
Yeah, he's in Matinee, another Joe Dante movie, which is fantastic. Yep. He's in a ton of stuff. So while we have some time, actually, while we have some people watching, here's my question. All right.
Yes.
I would have sworn this was from The Howling, and I saw this on TV only. I would have, for my entire life, I thought this was The Howling, even if it was for TV footage or cut footage or something. I saw this scene, but it is not from The Howling. All right. Tell me what the hell this is. So there's a guy and a girl driving through like the forest, right?
Okay.
Like on a road, but in the forest, and they come across an Indian ceremony. All right. And she's like, hey, come on, let's pull over and watch this. He's like, okay. So they pull over, and the Indians are doing their dance and whatever. And they're all holding hands. So it's like a big circle. All right. And so they're watching on the outside, and they start to say, like, come in, like join the circle. Right. So the girl comes in, and she's like dancing around, and the guy starts to go, but he can't get in because he's whatever he is. I thought he was a werewolf. I'm assuming he's a werewolf. And because they were doing a dance to ward off evil spirits, and he couldn't get into the circle with her. And so he was like, and then he went back to the car and went away. I would have sworn that this was The Howling up and down my entire life until like the anniversary Blu-ray came out, and I saw like the full movie and all the deleted scenes, and it's not in it. No one can tell me what this movie is. But I know I saw this thing, and I'm assuming he had to be a werewolf because he was just a dude, right? And obviously the wolf is inside him, and so he couldn't get into the special circle, whatever.
Was it one of the sequels? Because I haven't seen any of the sequels.
I don't think so. I don't think so. But I've described this scene to a lot of people, and a lot of people that know horror stuff.
Yeah.
And nobody can come up with what this is.
I have no idea.
This is like a vivid like image of them dancing, and he can't get into the circle, and he runs away. And it might not be a werewolf movie. It might just be some kind of monster. That is a possible thing. But he was just a dude, and nobody knew that he was a problem. And then the Indians wouldn't let him in the circle.
Yeah, I don't know. See, I had for like 15 years, I had the same problem with a movie that I caught a glimpse of when I was a kid, and I thought it was a badass movie. And actually, last year, I finally figured out what movie it was.
No.
But the way I would describe the movie was there was like a robotic spider guy, and then there was a scene in the movie where the chick's going through a maze, and she's got to go through the maze to get out, and like there's like spikes and shit, and like you know what movie I'm talking about? Because it took 15 years to find this movie. And,
damn it, man. I've seen it, but I can't remember the name of it.
And after seeing it and then realizing who's in it, it's a lot easier to remember now, because at the time when I was a kid, I didn't know the actors and actresses in the movie. I couldn't figure it out. So Michael Ironside, Molly Ringwald, and it was a 3D movie. This is Molly Ringwald pre-John Hughes. Molly Ringwald. This is a 1982 movie. It was a. Hold on, I'm looking it up right. I can't remember. I can never remember the name of it but it's. I rewatched it. It's not as good as I remembered. The memory was more badass. Where is it? Let's see. No, it's not The Facts of Life. Oh, here we go. Space Hunter: Adventures in the Forbidden Zone.
Oh yeah, okay. I know that movie. I don't think I've seen it, but that's a title that I know for sure, 100%.
It's got that long Space Hunter: Adventures in the Forbidden Zone, and you think like this movie's got to be awesome. And when I was a kid, I thought it was awesome, and I watched it. Also, Ernie Hudson's in it. Yeah, Ernie Hudson's in it. And Ivan Reitman's the producer in it. It came out in 1982. This is a year before Molly Ringwald's cast in 16 Candles, and Peter Strauss is in it. And it's just like it's such a Harold Ramis is in it. Jesus Christ, he's uncredited. Shocker. I guess he didn't want to be credited. But it flopped in the bot. It was a $14 million budget 3D movie, 16 million, so only made 2 million. But I mean, it sounds like an awesome movie on paper, and like the scenes I remember sound badass. Like Michael Ironside's like this creepy, like robotic, like pervert, and he's like take off her clothes, but he's like attached to like this machine, and like it's just such a bad movie. So it's Michael Ironside, so it's good acting.
So Trish says that the movie I'm thinking of is called Ghost Dance, and so I'm trying to find it because that movie, that title doesn't mean anything to me. The Ghost Dance, 1982, so that's theoretically yes. American Western slasher film directed by nobody that we know. Follows a Native American shaman who becomes possessed by a evil spirit that drives him to kill. It was the first slasher film. No, that's not it. Because these were people that were not Indians. They stumbled across the Indians doing the dance. So the dance part was just a small part of the movie. It was not about a Native American who did that. So no, that is not it. But that's a good try. That is a good try. But no, these were just white dude and white girl, man and wife, stumbling across the Indian dance and being like, hey, let's go check it out. And then that was the only part of it for the movie. So it was not Ghost Dance.
Huh. Eric got it right. Dick Miller's on all the Joe Dante films.
Dick Miller.
Dick Miller?
Yeah,
that's his name.
Yep, that's the guy. But yeah, that's not a bad game to play. Like, let's play a game of give a very vague description of a movie. And
try and find it. Yeah, like Demon in a Box. Like, there's only 1,000 Demon in a Box movies, but you know.
People who give like really vague reviews of movies, like this movie.
Well, there was one I just saw not too long ago. Somebody posted this. They posted a review of The Shining, and the review, it was a 1-star review, and the review was the actual written out review part of it was, he's just rude. Like, that's it. He's just rude. That's the whole thing. Yeah.
He's just rude.
You know,
yeah.
It's funny.
And I'm
how,
like, that's not incorrect, but you know, I don't know if it's a 1 star, but it's not an incorrect review.
Can you imagine being stuck in a giant ass hotel like that for X amount of days? But also, like, we're also like living in 2020, so I feel like people can relate to Jack more
we're
now.
We're doing that right now. Yeah. We just happen to have the internet to make things a little bit different.
Thank God.
But yeah, like a vague description, like, this dad gives his son a present for Christmas and tells him not to do certain things, and the son does the opposite and does everything his dad tells him not to do, and it nearly kills the whole town. Also, like, how many people die in Gremlins? There's a lot of people that I'm pretty sure.
There's like, quite a few.
The whole town just gets wiped out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to some degree, it seems like they all just kind of go into hiding, like, because there's not dead bodies laying on the in the streets or anything. But there are a lot of car crashes and all kinds of stuff. But
Santa getting eaten by them.
Yeah. So I mean, there's definitely people go down for sure. No question. No.
The guy delivering the letter.
Oh yeah. He gets stuck in the and then like the one guy just leaves him there. Like, and like he's like, no, by all means, and like he's just just gives them to him. It's like, oh god, like. But like, also like I feel like if that was like a town in the South, pretty sure like all those people in the town would have taken their guns and just because you can kill a gremlin with a gun.
Yeah,
you can kill a gremlin with a knife in the microwave. And the mom killed like 6 of them.
With
no
the blender.
Yeah, with the blender, microwave.
Yeah. They're bastards, but you can get them.
Unless they turn into lightning. I don't know how you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Phone.
Trap him in the phone. That guy. Oh no, because then they shot him out and he electrocuted all the.
And they watered all of.
Spoiler alert! Yeah, they electrocuted all the other gremlins with him. Yeah, that's right. I was just thinking about that. I'm like, oh shit, that guy's still on hold, man. There's Gremlins 3 right there.
There's like there's a button with tape over it, and like you're just not supposed to push the
don't
button with the tape.
Oh my god, that's funny. That's so
that's when Gizmo's like Rambo, like he's got.
That's in the first one. That's in the first one. He's Rambo in the first one.
No, it's the second one because he goes through the airplane, and he's got
I guarantee you, it's the first one.
No, I swear it's this. No, because
the first one. No, you're right. The first one, he's driving the car.
Yeah,
he's like, it takes a certain kind of guy, and he's like driving the Barbie car. Yeah.
That's also the start of Corey Feldman in movies. Is Gremlins 1. I wonder why they didn't bring him back for Gremlins 2. Although his character was not a really relevant. Like they could have done that movie without Corey Feldman. Also, what's a 10-year-old boy doing at a banker's house?
What?
Banking stuff?
A bank, because the guy's a banker, and then some 10-year-old kid's just hanging out in his bedroom reading comic books. Like, what?
Yeah.
How's that work?
Yeah. Because they have to be at least 10 years difference, maybe.
Yeah,
8
to 10 years.
Yeah, because he's not in school. He's he's working. And that nasty old woman at the freaking snowman head, like, you're down with this.
I'm gonna get that dog.
My imported Bavarian snowman.
Yeah.
And the music they played, like, it's just such a hated character right away. Just like that music just makes you like just want to be like,
yeah. It's like it was very reminiscent of like Wizard of Oz with the witch.
Yeah.
And the yeah.
Maybe that's what they were going for.
Oh, I'm sure. There's no doubt. Yeah.
It goes back to every Hollywood movie can be connected to the Wizard of Oz in some way.
Well, yeah, and the Wizard of Oz is how was it described once? A woman. Oh God, what was it? Something about a woman
kills someone's sister.
Yeah, a woman kills someone for her shoes and then goes to kill again. Something like that. It's like, oh my God, that's the Wizard of Oz. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah, and like, she's hanging out like with freaking scarecrows and Tin Man and lions. Like, yeah.
You
don't fuck with Dorothy.
I only watched that the first time last year. Is that bad?
What happened? You saw it for the first time last year?
What?
I just saw that for the first time last year.
Wizard of Oz?
Really?
No. Yeah.
That seems impossible.
I'm surprised.
I know.
How many times it's reran on TV?
Because you're like my age, dude, and that used to be like what? Like,
I know.
It used to be like, hey, the Wizard of Oz is on TV, and the universe stopped, and we all watched the Wizard of Oz.
For some reason, my mom just didn't like that movie, and we never watched it when it was on TV. And like, so finally, like last year, I'm like, I'm watching this damn thing. I want to see it, and I loved it.
Wow, crazy.
When my dad would watch it on TV, but he had a black and white TV, so.
So the color part never mattered.
The color, he never knew that when she goes to Oz, the movie turns into color. Yeah. So when I was a kid, when he bought it on VHS, and we're watching it, and it goes to that scene. He's like, I don't remember this movie being in color. Like, granted, it's me. I'm seeing it for the first time in color at the same time my dad sees it the first time in color. But he had seen the movie numerous times where it's like Ruby Slippers, and it's like it's black and white. Can you imagine watching Wizard of Oz in black and white for over 30 years? Over 30 years, not knowing that it's in color, and like seeing posters of them in color, but like never seeing any of the scenes in color.
That's wild. That's wild. Yeah.
It's probably got you probably have like a different view on the film if you see it in black and white.
Mm-hmm. Totally. It's a different movie.
A lot of time.
Totally different movie.
You don't see the witches green. You don't see the ruby slippers. You don't see that's a completely different movie.
Yeah, and like the different colored horses, like the different colored everything. You follow the yellow brick road.
Yep.
It looks like any of the other roads. This one's yellow.
Looks like gray to me. Road. What are you talking about?
The light gray road. There's a dark gray and a light gray. Follow the light gray road. And like the Lollipop Guild, the red, green, and blue costume monkeys, and
I was to say, was the monkeys just as creepy in black and white?
Yeah, they'd probably pass off. I mean, flying monkeys were crazy. Like, it's funny. Like in my Oz book, right? I've had people complain that the witch isn't scary enough for them, and I came back to them like, the witch never scared me. Like, so as I'm writing her, the witch, I have no fear of the witch, but goddamn, the monkeys freak me out.
Oh,
like,
God.
Flying monkeys flying in, tearing the scarecrow apart, dumping his body. And I was like, that's scary stuff right there. And so my monkeys were like,
there, and then over there.
Yeah.
Even like last year, that part, I was like, holy shit, what is going on?
Yeah. That was the haunted forest was the thing for me. So yeah, my witch is not really meant to be scary more than just kind of intimidating, like a Darth Vader figure versus like
the soldiers doing the oh.
Oh yeah.
If you watch Oh Brother Where Art Thou, they do that with the Klansmen in that movie, and it's just like, oh God.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Like, you ever think like maybe that's where they got it from? I don't know. Where they came up with that? Where was that in the books?
No.
No.
That I'm sure that stuff. I don't know where the I have no clue where that came from. No idea. Because again, that's another one of these movies where the Wizard of Oz is not the book. You know, they're very vastly different.
It's
in every way.
It's like when they make those Harry Potter movies and all the people who read the books are like, it's nothing like the movies or the books. And then I bet you in 1939 when the movie came out, there were people who read the book were like, it's nothing like the book, and they were like, shut up. Well, I guess they couldn't call him a boomer then because there weren't any boomers yet. Right. The Greatest Generation? I don't know. What are they? What? So the Greatest Generation was the generation after them. So, or that generation was the Greatest Generation. So the I don't know. I don't know that. Don't ask me what the generation names before the boomers is because.
But it was back in the day. There was far less entertainment. There was no internet. There was none of that. So Wizard of Oz was a hit back then.
Yeah.
So it just you know, it tapped into what the market was at the time, which is the musicals and everything, and it did its thing. So, you know, but there was a lot more Wizard of Oz stuff that existed movie wise prior to that. Mm-hmm. There's all kinds of crazy Oz stuff, including stuff with like was it Jack Hardy, Lauren Hardy, Jack Hardy? Like he was in it. There's all kinds of crazy stuff. Wild Oz stuff. But there's no werewolves in Oz.
No.
So, you know, there's something we can do. A werewolf in Oz.
Ooh. Throw it in BDI.
Throw a little twist into it there. There is actually a Kickstarter right now called Cthulhu in Oz, where Cthulhu invades Oz. So
all that.
Shout out to I believe that's Travis Gibb and crew.
Yeah, Travis Gibb and people.
And
many people. Yeah, it's a huge anthology book. So there's a ton of people involved in that. But I think it's under Travis's umbrella there as far as stuff. So yeah, so check out some Kickstarter stuff. While you're on Kickstarter checking out me and Jim, you know, look around and see what else is there, because there's a lot of cool stuff on Kickstarter with a lot of cool people that are creating some amazing stuff. So definitely. And if you like werewolves and all that sort of stuff, definitely check out Ursa Minor. It is werewolves, vampires. Our lead character is Naomi. She is a werebear. which usually on my pitch at a con, that's usually all it takes. Where, Bear? What? How do I get this book? I put it in your hand. There it is. Take a look. You're good to go.
I'm reading the comments right now. So many comments.
Yeah, I should be yawning.
There's mention of Indiana Jones. I love Indiana Jones. You guys like Indiana Jones? I like Indiana Jones.
Terrible.
How dare you, sir?
Kidding.
Well, what's real funny is people think
it's funny that the Big Bang Theory. Did you see the episode where they were
Oh
like,
God, here we go.
do anything? I was like, Jesus, you're right. He doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
who
Indiana
Jones?
Jones. You seen that episode? So basically, there's a Big Bang Theory where they're watching Indiana Jones, the first one, Raiders of the Lost Ark,
Right.
and somebody in the crew hadn't seen it before. I think it was Sheldon's girlfriend. And she was like, yeah, it was cute. And he was like, what do you mean it's cute? It was like a perfect movie. She's like, yeah, it's good. But if you look at it, Indiana Jones has no effect on the outcome of the movie because everything that he does throughout the movie accomplishes nothing. And even if he hadn't appeared in the film, the Nazis still would have gotten the thing. They still would have found the Ark. They still would have gone to the island. They still would have all gotten melted. So the only thing that happened is he brought it back from the island, but he was supposed to bring it to the museum, and it didn't even happen that way. It went into the archive. So he couldn't even get done what he wanted done throughout Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark. So I was like, oh, damn, that kind of sucks. But okay, I still like it.
I'm surprised you never mentioned the how does he go from being on a submarine? He jumps off the ship, gets onto the Nazi submarine, and
I'll tell you. Because it's in the comic book. But it's not in the movie.
That shouldn't count. I
agree. I do happen to agree. And there's another episode for the Big Bang Theory where they're like, hey, it has 21 extra seconds and it explains the submarine scene.
Yeah. They want to go to the theater and see it. Yeah.
The extended seconds. But also, like, can you imagine, like, Temple Doom comes out and you're thinking, oh, this is great, man. Like, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. But then you realize, wait a minute, Temple of Doom is like 2 years before Raiders of the Lost Ark. So Indiana Jones can't die. So if you see Indiana Jones in peril, nothing's going to happen. They're not going to pull his heart. They might pull his heart out, but they're going to put it back because he's got to.
Yeah, but that's storytelling of any kind. Captain America's not going to die. You know. So, but yeah, no, it's fair, but it's more about like him and the people around him. Like the kid could have technically died, broken, died, whatever.
Come be hot, Dr. Jones.
But I honestly didn't even know that when I first saw that. It did not click into me at all until many, many, many years later, where it was like, oh yeah, this is a prequel to I was like, God damn, all right.
Yeah, I never paid attention to it like at the years at all. Like 1939 to now, like whatever. But because in Raiders of the Lost Ark, when they introduce Dr. Jones to those people, they're like Master of the Occult, and that's how he became a Master of the Occult. He was Doom, and he dealt with the occultists from there, and the three idols or whatever. But then it closes with the best ever Last Crusade. They're riding on horses into the sunset.
Yep.
And the Crystal Skull never happened. It was just Marcus Brody, Scala, and him and his dad just riding off into the sunset. Like, that's how you end a franchise right there.
Well, you're going to get one more. You're going to get one more.
No,
it's going to happen.
What, is it going to be in a wheelchair? Like,
I'm just telling you.
Sean.
I'm telling you, you're going to get one more. You're going to get one.
Chris Pratt.
The bummer that is happening is it seems now that we are not going to get the Conan movie because Netflix has picked up the rights to do a TV show. Now, nothing's official at this point, but whoever owns the rights, who supposedly was talking with Schwarzenegger about, hey, let's do a movie, he has apparently decided, nah, screw it, we're going to do a Netflix pile of crap.
They could do a King Conan.
That's what they've been talking about. Yeah, that was the whole thing that had been talked about for decades. Is let's do King Conan, but apparently that's just not going to happen now. So that's going to be Schwarzenegger's going to be gone, and we all need to just go kick this guy in the nuts because you stole King Conan from us, dude.
See, Jason Momoa was a good Conan, but the movie was really bad.
Yeah, the movie was bad. The movie was.
I heard he wants to be the Crow. I talked to James O'Barr last year, and they said, and he was telling me that he's like, yeah, Jason's shown interest in wanting to be the Crow, and he said that he would slim down to the size that the Crow's supposed to be.
Damn.
Just to be the Crow.
Well, the Crow is conceptual. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right. But if the Crow comes in jacked, I mean, everyone's gonna be like, it's Aquaman, just in black leather.
But that's Momoa and everything. He's just, unless you're looking at him when he was in Baywatch, Momoa is the same in anything. He is just Momoa. I mean, there's no acting there. He's the same thing that you get in Aquaman is the same thing you get in what's the TV show he was in? Lord of the Rings. No, the stupid
Stargate Atlantis.
Game of Thrones.
Stargate, yeah.
Same thing. It's just the same. He's just it's just the same thing. He's just talking in a different language. So I have yet to see like acting chops from Momoa. Doesn't mean he doesn't have them, but I have yet to see him. So
Dune. We'll see him in Dune.
Is he in Dune?
Yeah, the Dune remake.
Someone called him Wet Thor.
Wet Thor.
He's basically Chris Hemsworth of the DC universe. He's that guy.
Kind of true.
I mean, I accept it. I accept it.
Yeah.
Are they doing any? But the thing is he going to be in any of those future movies that they're doing?
Well, they've talked of an Aquaman 2. There's no way you don't do Aquaman 2. The first one was $1 billion.
Yeah.
The only thing you have to do is recast Amber Heard, and you're good to go. Just go.
They joke they should recast her character as Johnny Depp.
Oh, that'd be great.
Just as a little stab, like, yeah, Johnny Depp's going to be the love interest in this movie. People would still see it. Johnny Depp is the love interest with Jason Momoa. Oh my God, we're talking like Aquaman 1 made $1 billion, and then Aquaman 2 almost made $1 trillion because you get the first high man-on-man kissing scene between two A-list celebrities. You don't see. I mean, you saw Michael Fassbender kiss Michael Fassbender in Alien Covenant,
but this
takes it to a whole new level. This is Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp has been hot since the '80s, and Jason Momoa is the hot thing now. Like, this is like if George Clooney and Brad Pitt were to kiss in Ocean's 11. Like, this is like that monumental. This is Edward Norton and Ben Affleck kissing in Fight Club. This is
my God.
They'd be kissing. Well, I can't say anything. Spoiler alert. Never mind.
Hey, we don't talk about Fight Club. That's rule number 1.
Yeah, we can't talk about Fight Club.
Whoops.
Yeah, you don't. I mean,
join our Fight Club podcast tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, no.
And Fight Club lives on in the comics, and it's still written by the guy who made it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is pretty interesting. That's something you don't see. I think they've done up to Fight Club 3. I only read the first issue of Fight Club 2, and I was like, yeah, I'll just get the trade when it comes out. I just haven't gotten the trade.
Never got them.
Well, I think Dark Horse did that, and that was like one
Dark
of
Horse
the
did it.
Dark Horse. Like, yeah, they lost everything. So I guess Fight Club's the biggest franchise they own now because they don't own Star Wars. They don't own Alien, Predator.
No, they lost all of them now.
Yeah. All their licenses are gone. They lost Godzilla. They lost it all. All gone.
Boom Studios. How did Boom Studios get Godzilla? Or is it IDW?
They don't. IDW had it for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know that they still do. There hasn't been anything released in a long time.
Yeah.
I feel like they did something like a couple of years ago.
Well, there's been stuff put out through Legendary. Legendary has a comics
didn't know that.
arm now. Yeah. So they do stuff related to the movie.
Huh.
Yeah. Hasn't been any Godzilla stuff in a long time.
I just remember Boom coming out with that awful, what was it, Big Trouble in Little China sequel?
Oh, the Boom Studios did that one, yeah.
Yeah, they did that. They did New York. Yeah.
Which explains
some weird licenses.
It explains it has that character from LA who's a woman in LA but a man in the comics, which I thought was awesome. I like stuff like that. Where like it picks up where the movie leaves off, like where he's just like walking. Yeah, you're right. Legendary has them now. They did a 2019. The last thing IDW was 2016, and now Legendary has it. So they did one last year.
Yeah, they did like a prequel thing of some sort for the movie.
Aftershock. Yeah. Huh. Interesting. Godzilla.
Really? You just questioned me on Godzilla information?
Yeah, I think if anyone would know.
Like, oh damn!
Jim tried to catch me.
I was like, as I was Googling, I was like, why am I even looking this up? Why am I
It is interesting though, because IDW did just put out a reprinting of some of their stuff. Their longest running book called Godzilla Rulers of Earth was like 24 issues, something like that. 25 actually. I think it's the longest running Godzilla series, comic book series. They did just put out a compilation of that stuff. So it's interesting that they still have the rights to do that while not able to do anything new. I'm not sure why that is the case, but I don't know. I'm glad it got put out because it's really good. Chris Mowry, friend of mine, Chris Mowry, and Matt Frank did that book. And it's tremendous. It's super fun Godzilla stuff. It's some of the best Godzilla comics you'll read. And it's a really long series. So definitely fun.
Yeah, I don't know who owns the Planet of the Apes comics anymore.
That's Boom.
Is that Boom?
Yeah.
I see. I get Boom. For some reason, I get Boom and IDW confused a lot. But they did a Planet of the Apes Green Lantern crossover, and they had variants that were homages to the movie posters, like Beneath Planet of the Apes and Escape from Planet of the Apes. See, that's one franchise I'd love to write for. Like, let me write a Planet of the Apes story. Like, not an adult Planet of the Apes, just Planet of the Apes. Like, I love Planet of the Apes.
You just have them all throwing shit at each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's issue 1. I mean, look, man, I love every ape I see, from chimpanzee to chimpanzee. I mean the original
never make a monkey out of me.
Oh my God, I was wrong. It was Earth all along. Stop the Planet of the Apes. I want to get off. I'm telling you, I think it would be awesome to write a Planet of the Apes comic book, but not a Planet of the Apes like today's Planet of the Apes. I want to do Charlton Heston. I want to do the 60s, the 70s Planet of the Apes movies. I feel like I could do those movies justice in a comic book form. Like, it's weird when you see comic books written by other writers, but it's the movie.
Yeah. Planet of the Apes is cool. I question the depth of what you can do, just staying in that world. Like, obviously the movies came forward and backwards and they moved through time and stuff. But if you were to just be like, okay, we're on Planet of the Apes, we're in the Charlton Heston era, what do we do? Now, there was a book that they put out called Ursus, which was about General Ursus. And it took place at the exact same time as the original Planet of the Apes movie. And it was what Ursus was doing while Charlton Heston was doing what he was doing. And they would occasionally, bump into each other because that's how the movie was. But it was a really cool behind the scenes story that happened while the Charlton Heston scene was happening. So that was super cool. Cool.
And that the other thing about that too is, like, when you see Beneath Planet of the Apes, you didn't see this guy in the first Planet of the Apes. He comes in the second Planet of the Apes, and you're like, wait a minute, like, this guy shows, like, all of a sudden there's an ape army and they got all the guns and stuff, and then it's like, and then they're going in the tunnels, and it's just like there's some things that's like, that doesn't add up. They didn't really, but also there's a lot to tell in the first Planet of the Apes. So I guess maybe if they had more time or to add, like, there's some scenes they could have cut out, but I mean, there's so many good scenes. I do reference.
Well, there's definitely history, and I mean, even the Planet of the Apes movies, I mean, even they don't really make sense continuity wise, because again, the movies also are in a way that they're trying to change history too. Right. So you have these elements that, so it's not like it connects as a circle.
It's the parallel universe.
Yeah.
So, all right, hold on.
Oh my God, we have props.
Oh geez.
So you have the first movie, second movie. I'm doing it in a Sharpie so you can see it.
Yeah.
And then the third movie. Wait, hold on, I fucked it up.
You fucked it up because the third movie doesn't deviate anything.
No.
It's when you get to the fourth movie that it deviates. Because the third one gives you all of the details. It gives you the ape saying no. It gives you the no is in part 4. The Caesar saying no is in part 4. But
right.
Caesar saying no,
like,
but then he's, instead of creating a war, he's like, okay, we're in charge now, but there's not a war. And then you go into 5 and they're trying to live together as opposed to, whatever it was that went down.
So here's what I have, right? And so this is the first movie.
Right.
So Planet of the Apes.
Yep.
Beneath Planet of the Apes.
Yep.
And there's nothing that happens. The world is destroyed beneath Planet of the Apes, so there is nothing.
Correct.
So then we go to this timeline where it's
that time zone is actually before the first movie.
Which is over here. So
right.
Then it's beneath or Escape from Planet of the Apes, Conquest for Planet of the Apes, and then Battle for Planet of the Apes, which is around and then it jumps at the end of the movie. It jumps where they have the statue of Cornelius, and they're talking about him. And it actually is probably around the same time that the first movie would happen, but it's two different realities. It's not the same reality.
Yep.
So it's a weird franchise. And I would love to write it. I love fucking monkey movies, man. Not like fucking monkey movies, but you know what I mean.
Monkeys.
Even the Mark Wahlberg movie, Planet of the Apes, I really enjoyed for different reasons. So Charlton Heston's in it as a monkey.
Yep.
Also, I heard that Tim Burton stole a scene from a Kevin Smith comic book. And in an interview, where someone said, "Hey, the ending of Planet of the Apes is the ending of a Kevin Smith comic book," and Tim Burton said, "Oh, I don't really read comic books." And then Kevin Smith replied with "Well, that explains the Batman."
That's with Batman, yeah, sure, yeah,
yeah, explains Batman.
Yeah.
How do we get into Planet of the Apes? That's awesome. See, I'm going to look at this tomorrow and be like, I don't know what this is.
I drew a boat.
And then this is my original one where I did 1, 2, and then I was like, this is 3. I'm like, I put 3 and 1 too close, so I was like, I'm flying too short.
You had the right idea. You had the right idea.
Yeah.
The apes. See, because you have two backstories. You have whatever the real backstory was from when Heston left to when he arrived back. Whatever that story was is not what we got from Planet of the Apes 5 to whatever.
Right. Yeah, so, if they could do a prequel to Planet of the Apes, which is the one that leads to the Heston Planet of the Apes and not the Battle for Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Where it's like the humans, like no living with apes. Like that's bullshit. The humans hate the apes hate the humans. Like it's all just humans and apes killing each other, and then
and it's nuclear war. I mean, they blew the world up.
Yeah,
they kill so many humans. They literally send them back to the Stone Age because they can't even talk.
Yeah, that's super dramatic, man. Like, how the hell did that happen? Yeah,
the apes kicked their ass so bad with the wooden guns. They killed enough humans to make them not learn how to talk.
Yeah,
what? And they just go hunting them and bring them back to Ape City, and then there's the Forbidden Zone. Like that's also, how big is this planet? Why is there only this small? There's only Ape City, the Forbidden Zone, the Statue of Liberty. Like, where's the rest of the? Is that all that's left? Is the rest of the world just?
That's it.
Well, they don't know. They don't know. I mean, they don't know. We didn't get to explore that far. I mean, even the TV show was basically New York. And which is also weird. Like 3 times humans landed in the future, and they all landed in New York each time. So why don't you write? That's an interesting way. You could write a story where you land in Paris, and what are the apes doing in Paris? I mean, so there's ways to do it, but I feel like it would all be derivative of the basic. So you really have to find a new hook to figure out what would your Planet of the Apes story be to not be too derivative.
I don't want to do the French Planet of the Apes where the's the Eiffel Tower and it's like, you ruined it.
You blew it up.
You blew it up.
Viva la France.
Neck and monkey dance. No.
Oh yeah, that's how it just ends. Viva la France, and then cut. Done. Yeah. That's it. And there's a Washington D.C. version where, or no, they've already done that one. there's like they didn't do Mount Rushmore. They could do Mount Rushmore, but it's all apes. No, that'd be too. No, that's like going to the Washington thing. Let's see. What's the good monument?
Oh, Mount Rushmore with apes. I love it. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. They went to Mount Rushmore and re-chiseled it to be apes.
Well,
oh my God.
Well, they did that in Mars Attack too, which is another movie.
Well, and they did that in Superman too.
Yeah. Pour out Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. Trying to think, what's a good, like, maybe, oh no, I hate Seattle. See, Seattle's like the one city in the world that I'm just like, they could just bomb that city. I'd be happy. Like,
no one cares about the Space Needle. No one cares about the Space Needle.
They show up, there's a Space Needle, and they're like, I don't care. I'm okay with this. This is fine. Like,
it's fine.
Good. Like,
it's fine.
That would be funny. You'd have like an anthology of like Seattle and Paris and Texas and whatever. And then when they're into Seattle will be the last one. And then they'll get there. They'll be like, yeah, this is fine.
Yeah.
Big boy. What's up, the Texas big dude?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. The state fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like, they go to
damn filthy apes. They attack Texas.
They go to Detroit, but it looks exactly the same. Like, like this place didn't really change. Like, it's the same as it was in 1994.
So yeah, Mike, you're right. They are they don't land legitimately in New York. They land somewhere else, and they have to walk in. But they're close enough to walk because they obviously find the Statue of Liberty in the TV show. Yeah. They find the New York Circus underground and all that kind of stuff. So they're clearly in the New York, New Jersey area for every one of these landing.
They walk quite a bit away, and it's a landscape that it is not like there's no desert. Granted, but like I guess over time, over thousands of years, I don't know. Why are we trying to or maybe maybe those caverns and the mountains is actually forget it. I don't know why I'm trying to justify this now.
It's a movie about apes taking over the world. And
talking apes and Roddy McDowell. Dude. Yeah, and those new movies, I as much as I like what's his name, Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
Which is ironic he's got circus in the name and he plays apes, among other things. But
I like the first movie a lot. Absolutely. The first one I thought was really good. The second two were just nothing.
It doesn't make any sense.
Just were nothing. Even the last one, it's like War for the Planet of the Apes. I mean, they're fighting over like some cliff. Like, how is this?
And also the humans have like UAVs and tanks and helicopters. Yeah. It's like you can't just like fly into where he lives and just bomb the hell out of them.
Yeah. That's fine in Reign of Fire. That doesn't work for the monkeys.
No. And you guys have to remember, this is the guy that's directing Batman.
Yeah, I don't care about Batman.
Who's directing Batman?
The Matt Reeves that done the Planet of the Apes movies.
Yeah, the Matt. New one. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna tell him on this one.
No, I'm out on Batman. I've had too much Batman. Way too much Batman.
You can never have enough.
No, you can't. No,
you can never get enough of the Batwing.
I'm done with Batman. Batman's done.
89 Batman, I'm good. Go there on, I'm good.
Yeah, they do those Batman 66 comics of Adam West. Where's my Batman? Where's my Michael Keaton Batman? Where's Batman 89? Where's Batman 91?
Listen, I've said, like, if I were to go to DC Comics and they'd be like, look, what do you want to write? The first thing would be, I want to write Alicia Silverstone Batgirl. That's my start.
Hell yeah.
That's where I will take DC Comics into the future, is with Alicia Silverstone Batgirl spinoff.
Yeah.
Batgirl was it Batgirl 96?
Yeah, Batgirl 96. Yeah,
Batgirl 96.
And it picks up right where that scene where they're running. And
you cannot tell me that would not sell like wildfire.
Oh yeah, it would.
It would reignite her career. She'd be on the con circuit doing all the cons. Like, I'm based on the new Batgirl, and then
I'm back.
or maybe she's like picked up smoking between like stuff that she's done.
No.
I'm based on the new Batgirl. Like she's like Lucy O'Ball. Like
no, she's the last time I saw her was like I think 2 years ago. She was in the remake of Diary of a Wimpy Kid as the mom.
Yeah.
And she looks amazing. Like for being or whatever age she is. I mean, she looks amazing. The reboot was surprisingly good. I don't know if you guys have watched those movies. They're pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
But the reboot, I was like, oh God, it's like a whole new cast. And I was like, geez. But it worked. It was good. So I was happy. And Alicia Silverstone was in it and she looked awesome. So I was happy.
I saw the what was it? The Vacation. They did a Vacation movie.
Yeah.
And
also good.
Yeah, she was in.
Christina Applegate was in it. And I'm watching, I'm like, man, she is still hot today. Like, God
Christina Applegate.
It was, and I think that movie got flack because they thought it was a reboot, but it was a sequel. It was a direct sequel.
No. Yeah.
It's an extension of the franchise. I loved it. I thought it was great.
I
thought it was great too.
It's the fifth Rusty, but it's a sequel.
But that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like, I would love it if they did another one and they recast him again.
If they did,
put Jim in his place. Could you imagine that if they put Jim in and he was Rusty now? Like, how amazing would that be?
If they did a Christmas Vacation with the Rusty from the Christmas Vacation, because he's the Big Bang guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's Christmas Rusty.
Yes.
They did a Rusty Christmas movie where it was Rusty, him as Rusty, but it's still Christina Applegate and the two kids. And
oh man,
they find what's his name? They find Randy Quaid. They find Randy Quaid, and they're like, "Look,
Eddie,
give you this can of beans if you star in the Christmas Vacation movie."
Here's a can of beans.
Like, because I know, like, he looks like a wild man now. Like, if he crosses like a certain state, if he crosses a certain state line, he gets arrested by the authorities.
Yep.
So they'll have to film around where he lives, which I'm sure will fit for a Christmas movie. And kind of, like, maybe he shows up as, oh, that'd be awesome, right? So like, it's Randy Quaid, and he comes back in the Christmas movie, and he because he has the beard already, he comes back as Santa Claus, but he's Cousin Eddie. So Cousin Eddie, but he tries going down the chimney, but he's too fat, and he gets stuck in the chimney, and the whole movie.
And then it becomes the Gremlins movie.
Yeah.
No.
And suddenly it's Phoebe Cates, and her dad is stuck in the.
No, like the whole movie is like there'll be arguments like in the family room, and then all of a sudden you'll hear Randy Quaid like in the wall like, yeah, right? And like, hey, can you drop down some candy canes down the chimney? I'm getting kind of hungry, and then the end of the movie is like, all right, kids, hold it out your stocking. I got some coal. And, like, then he just shits out the chimney. Like, I mean, I'll write a fucking this Vacation movie.
There you go, man. There's your next big hit.
Why am I not getting calls from Hollywood right now? Like,
I don't know, because only because we're not on YouTube. I mean, if YouTube was watching us, we'd be like, these guys are brilliant.
John Hughes is rolling in his grave. He's like, what have I created? Like, I've created a franchise they recast the character.
What the hell?
Chevy, or no, there'll be a scene of Chevy Chase, and it'll be just the director asking Chevy to be in the movie, and Chevy just going fuck off, and then
well, he was in the reboot.
They were
in the 5.
Was Beverly D'Angelo in the reboot too? The sequel, yeah, she was in it too.
Yeah. And they had Audrey, and it was a different Audrey.
Yeah, it's different Audrey. It's great. And then of course Chris Hemsworth was in it.
Yes.
Was he in?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's been so long. Norman Reedus was in it.
Yes.
What?
He was a trucker. He was the trucker.
He was the trucker.
Yes, I forgot about that. Oh my god, totally forgot about that.
Yeah. Who was the guy who played Rusty? It was the guy from The Office, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ed Helms that played on the Hangover movie too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. See, if you like watching that guy in The Office, I don't like him in The Office at all.
No, he's not a good character.
No.
But like the Hangover movies and the Christmas or the Vacation movie, he's good. But God, when I watch The Office and I see him in The Office, I'm like, this guy sucks. Like, why did they made him the boss? They made him the boss. He was the boss. They made freaking James Spader the boss, which I thought was the Michael California. That was the best boss in The Office.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, what the fuck? Like, Ed Helms is the boss. Is like, I don't know. I don't find him funny in the show, but like the movies though, he's good at movies.
He's great in Hangover. I loved him in Hangover.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the problem with Ed Helms too was he was doing a bunch of movies. He was doing The Hangover and stuff
Yeah.
at the time. So they kept moving him in and out of the show. So he never really managed to like ground and go. He was always like, pop, he's over here. Pop, he's over here.
Yeah.
But he was a very odd character. Yeah. I never really got into him. That's why I think it would be hysterical if they just recast him and it was Jim.
Oh,
that would be
great.
so funny. That would be so funny.
Yeah.
Speaking of The Office, I just watched House of a Thousand Corpses last night, and it had
Dwight.
Dwight Smith. Yeah.
It's true. For the longest time, I didn't know that was Chris Hardwick.
That's what I started to say.
Chris Hardwick too. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Because he's so fat in that movie. Like, you don't even recognize him.
Yeah.
Like, you look at him now, like, Talking Dead Live, and like, then you look at him in House of a Thousand Corpses, and you're like, Jesus Christ. That movie's 17 years old. That was him 17 years ago.
Still, the best thing about that movie, I'm sorry, is the DVD. Like, just leave it on at the beginning, where it's just like the menus and all, and Captain Spaulding comes out. And he's just like, well, shit the bed. and he's doing like all the stick and everything and all. And just like leave the Blu-ray on and the DVD, and he goes for like literally 20 minutes of just stuff. And yeah, it's amazing. It's almost better than the movie.
That's funny.
Yeah, when I was watching Three from Hell, the last one they did, the one that ends the whole series, that I predicted the end of the movie, like the first like 10 minutes of the movie, when they did the flashback to what's his name, Danny Trejo getting killed. And I was like, well, obviously this is going to somehow bite him in the ass. Why else? It's like when you see TV show recaps and it shows something like 10 episodes ago, and they're like, obviously this guy's going to show up in this episode. So when they did that, I'm like, well, obviously something bad's going to happen because, someone's always related to somebody. And then, of course, like in the second movie where that one cop, like, you killed my brother in the first movie.
God, yeah. Oh.
And so, like, in Three from Hell, it's like, yeah, and like they're like, yeah, let's go to Mexico. I'm like, no, don't go to Mexico because that's where the people who are there who want to kill you. But also they want to they're getting hunted from everywhere. It probably would have been better if they went to Canada, but I don't think those guys could fit in Canada.
Nah.
Yeah, I was really disappointed, like, with Three from Hell, just because, like, I thought Three from Hell meant, like, Bill Moseley and Captain Spaulding. And
I teared up a little bit with Captain Spaulding when, like, they just kind of killed him off. I was like, spoiler alert, but yeah, I would have lost him literally like a couple months before.
Yeah, like I would have preferred a movie, like that movie would have been better for Captain Spaulding. It was all three, like when you think, hey, this is a sequel to The Devil's Rejects and the House of Thousand Corpses.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, okay, so it's the three guys in the car. No, it's the two Fireflies and their cousin. It's like,
your cousin.
What the fuck? Like, come on, man. I didn't like that. I was like, come on. Like,
yeah.
But I guess maybe
the movie, but it wasn't the same.
Maybe what's his name was just too unhealthy. He's like, look, I can film like these two scenes.
He was.
I can't run around.
I got the 4K Blu-ray of it, and they have a documentary on it. And they said he was just too sick. He said I can't do it. And Rob Zombie had a lot of reserve on bringing him in the movie. They're like, well, should we even bring him in because he's so sick?
Right.
And that's why they only had like that small scene with him and talking to him and stuff and all. And that's the reason why. And what's his name? That played him, Captain Spaulding. He's like, no, I'm going to be in this movie, do or die.
Yeah, I mean, and he was still on the con circuit. He was painting his face as Captain Spaulding at shows.
Yeah, him and Bill Moseley was dressed up from House of a Thousand Corpses.
And Bill Moseley's still doing it. He's still on the concert. Granted, there hasn't been cons this year, but he's going to be at the Texas Frightmare next year.
Have you met him?
I have not. That's the one guy I still need. That's on my list that I still need to meet.
You'll like him. He's awesome.
I want him to sign my. I still don't know if I'm going to have him sign a Texas Chainsaw Massacre comic book or my Army of Darkness comic book.
Oh, Army of Darkness, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get him next to Sam and Ted. Yeah.
Well, guys, we're gonna wrap this up here. I'm gonna throw a couple of things out for some werewolf wrap up stuff. All right. Some honorable mentions here. Chloe Grace Moretz was, of course, a werewolf in Dark Shadows.
Yes. Forgot.
Yep. Not very often, not very long was she a werewolf, but she was a little goth werewolf in that. The Red Riding Hood movie was a werewolf movie with Amanda Seyfried. Let's see, what else do we have here? One wolf movie that a lot of people don't even know exists, and it's more of a wolf man, but he does technically become a wolf at the end, is Wolf with Jack Nicholson. You guys ever see that?
Yeah.
Wolf is a great movie. Jack Nicholson. It's got the dude from The Office, Robert California.
James Spader.
Yeah, James Spader is in it. Michelle Pfeiffer is in it. It's a really good movie. It's more of a wolf man style, but it's a really good movie. Most people don't even know that it exists. Let's see what else. I'm kind of running through a little list here of things. There was The Company of Wolves.
Yes.
And
what about wasn't there like a Benicio del Toro wolf movie?
Yeah, there was a Wolfman. It was a remake of the Universal Wolfman. Yeah. I did not like it. I don't know why necessarily, but it did not register with me. No, it just didn't do it for me. There's a whole bunch of ginger snaps that we've talked about, and I don't know. There's some odds and ends, but just to kind of wrap it up, there is something in the movie Grindhouse called The Werewolf Women of the SS.
Yep.
Which I don't know anything about that, so I'm going to have to figure out what the heck that is.
Look at the trailer. There's a trailer. It's a faux trailer in the movie.
All right. So Werewolf Women of the SS is not a real thing. It's part.
No, it's a faux trailer Rob Zombie made for Grindhouse.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and watch the ending.
Since there was a mention of werewolves and Nazis, there is a comic book called Nazi Werewolves from Outer Space. I don't know if you guys have seen that book. I can't remember his name. I'm friends with him on Facebook. Super nice guy. I'm friends with the writer. I picked up all the issues that he's come out with, like the covers. Oh my god, they're badass as hell. Like it looks like a 50s kind of like badass poster. Like there's like one where like these like spiders are coming out of a dude, and like there's like a werewolf like shooting the head off a woman. And also like there's like a gorilla with a fishbowl head, and it's the head of Hitler inside. It's Nazi Werewolves from Outer Space. Yeah, you guys should definitely check that out. It's pretty awesome. That out.
Crazy. So from this chat, are we all in agreement that basically the Howling and American Werewolf in London are whoa, he's gone.
Oh, we're at the gym.
Just like that. I think he went to hit comments and he hit the X button. I've done that before. Yep. He's back. You hit that X button, didn't you?
I hit refresh. Yeah. I was just trying to exit out of the comments, and then I hit refresh.
So the Howling and American Werewolf in London are basically top of the charts.
American Werewolf in London's the top.
And, yeah, no. Are we comfortable saying Silver Bullet is 3?
Yeah, Silver Bullet's one of my all-time favorites. I know it's kind of a Warburton thing too.
Gary Busey's in it.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. Can't beat Gary Busey.
The book is a quick second. The Cycle of the Werewolf, the book's amazing because it's Bernie Wrightson.
Yeah.
And Stephen King.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Two greats right there. I mean, Wrightson alone in comic books, and then like just a thought, like you can buy in Stephen King, like the king of horror books, and then Bernie Wrightson, like, oh my god, freaking!
It's a quick read, but it's good.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a short story, but you get big full pieces of art by Bernie Wrightson in it, and it's a great book.
There's like a wolf or like a cop, and he's sitting there like the paw is just going across the wolf's the cop's mouth. And it just shows it like ripping it.
My buddy has a sketch from Bernie Wrightson, and this is exactly what the sketch is.
Well, again, so Trish says Underworld for 3. Again, Trish, Underworld has extra elements. It has the vampire element, so we're kind of sticking for we want to stick with just the pure werewolf concept versus because there's werewolf versus Frankenstein, and there's all kinds of werewolf versus vampire movies, and that kind of cheats because it adds extra elements. But with the werewolf, just there's werewolves in the universe. Because there's even werewolves in the Lost Boys based on the trailers of the sequels. There's werewolves in the Lost Boys universe because the third one has werewolves in it. So, What's that?
And Corey Feldman.
And Corey Feldman. It still has Corey Feldman, yes. Which supposedly, and we'll wrap it up here. Supposedly, those guys are going to do some sort of straight to online Frog Brothers thing somewhere. Yeah. So keep your eyes open for that. That's all I know. It was some little rumor that came out where they're going to reunite the Frog Brothers and do a Lost Boys thing for online somehow. It's not going to be Netflix. It's not going to be like a real movie. It's just going to be something. So keep your eyes open for the Lost Boys. So the Howling, the American Werewolf in London, and Silver Bullet are your top 3, folks. That's what we have decided, and thus that is what it is.
Yes. So it is our word, and our word is final.
Correct. There is no disputing here. We're the ones doing the show. We get to make the answers. So, guys, this was a fill-in episode for Phil Locklear and the unscripted. I don't know when we will do this again, but I'm sure we will. Next Friday, we will bring back the Big Dog Inc. Fan Fridays again next Friday night. And then Dave and Jim and I will have to figure out just what exactly the hell we're doing with this little show about movies and horror and whatever else we want to do. But thanks for hanging out again on Saturday night. We all went through a hell of a week this week. Everybody just chill out. Everybody be good to each other. Societies are not collapsing in 4 years. Don't worry. We'll be okay. We'll figure it all out. We'll come out the other side and we'll be all right. So we'll see y'all next week in some capacity. I believe Unscripted returns with Phil Locklear next week. So keep your eyes open for details on guests and all that who may be showing up. And watch for news on The Movie Guys episode 3. Who knows when, where, or how.
Guy. Woo!
Yep.
All right, guys. Good night. Thanks for joining me again.
Thanks, everybody.
We'll see you next time, whenever that may be.